Right, in this post I'm going to be sort of discussing kind of the research, sort of background research I've done into scripting and how it's done, sort of kind of the, I guess you could call the commandments, I guess, of scripting, what you'd, sort of the things that you have to do essentially to make it, make a script kind of cohesive and something that audiences will be receptive to. So what my sort of main resource that I've been looking at with scripting has been the Rain Dance Saturday Films. I'm sure that's going to be the wrong way around on the thing, but yeah, the Saturday Film School DVD from Rain Dance, which is a series of lectures from industry experts on taking I guess a film from start to finish. So the main one that I've been looking at has been it's an hour and a half documentary from a guy called Elliot Grove on writing the screenplay, which has been, it kind of discusses, it goes through all the basics and stuff like that, the things you need to know about writing the story, along with lots of tips and tricks about the best way that you can create a story and get it told. So I'll kind of, if this is for the lecturers, what I'll do when it comes to marking is I've done a lot of background notation and stuff like that, pages upon pages of the stuff for just taking notes from these lectures as I would as if it were a kind of lecture that I was at in real life. And so I'll hand those in kind of like a actual folder, like in non-digital manual, I guess, form, so you can see. But for the purposes of keeping this blog post under 10 minutes, not ending up being half an hour long, I'll kind of paraphrase and sort of discuss what I've learned, I guess the main points of what I've seen in the store, what I've learned from this script writing DVD. So I guess to start with, one of the main things, one of the big things that we learned from it is character development, and that's, he basically says, he says throughout the lecture, it constantly relates back to it, that in order to get a good story, in order to get something that's writable and something that's going to captivate and interest people, you have to focus and work really well on character development. Saying even to the extent that once you've written the characters that you want to put in the piece more or less writes itself. So say, for example, you have two characters, create them intentionally to be polar opposites of each other. Say one, I guess, is very intelligent, the other one incredibly dumb. And that's clearly going to create, what that does is, by creating these two characters with very different and very clear personalities and stuff like that, you put them in any situation and the story more or less begins to write itself. So I guess as a fairly innocuous example, you've got someone who's incredibly strong, and then someone but incredibly dumb, and then someone who's incredibly weak yet incredibly smart. Put them in some sort of difficult situation, something like that, maybe they've been kidnapped or something, and then if you've got enough background character development, that story's going to write itself. These characters are going to relate to each other, and I think the one of the clear examples that they gave was when you're writing a character or anything like that, you need to know them in and out, more so than you do your best friend or something like that. You need to know. So the example they gave is you give them both £5 and tell them to go to the shops. What's this character going to buy? What's he going to pick up? What's his shopping list? What's he going to come back to you with? And, just little examples like that. But the main crux of the point was you need to know your characters inside out, essentially. You need to know everything about them, otherwise you're going to have real trouble later on down the line in the story. You have to get to know them, because then when it comes to the question, what happens next, you can ask yourself, well, I know this character, so what would they do next? What would I think that they're going to do next? And more often than not, if you've got the character development right, you know what they're going to do. So that was one of the big things. It's kind of pertains to character development, but is a slightly different point within itself regarding a narrative and stuff like that. Is that with the characters in your piece, whether they're the protagonist or the antagonist, generally speaking, this is most key for those two characters in the thing, the antagonist and the protagonist, is they have to have what's called an inner goal and an outer goal. In order to flesh themselves out as characters, in order to have a narrative that's gonna work and flow, you have to have these two specific things. And this applies for more or less any big Hollywood movie or even the smallest independent film that you've seen that has some kind of narrative in it. It's that a character will always have an inner goal and an outer goal. Character's inner goal being the character's outer goal, I should probably start with that one, I think I may be getting these the wrong way around, but the outer goal is something the character wants to achieve. So for example, I think the example they gave in the lecture was Jeremy wants to leave London, for example. That's his outer goal. That's something that he wants to achieve over the space of the movie. And then the character's inner goal is something that is some kind of personality defect that they have to overcome, something that prevents them from achieving their outer goal. In order to achieve their outer goal, they have to get over this inner problem that's stopping them from achieving it. So Jeremy wants to leave London, but Jeremy can't leave London because he is addicted to drugs or something like that. Something that prevents the character from achieving his outer goal. And that's generally speaking what a film is. It's a character achieving that outer goal only by finally achieving his inner goal and basically fixing what's wrong with him, what's preventing him from reaching his dreams and stuff. And that's what makes films so cathartic for people. That's why films that people look to these things and then they may see a problem that they have themselves or something like that, and that they look to these movies and stuff and they say, wow, this person's done that, and this is how they've achieved it. This is a cathartic experience for me. I now know how to achieve that myself, or I've come away seeing that it is achievable, even if it is through the silver screen. And so I'm just trying to think of some examples of kind of inner goals and out, like in actual films and stuff like that. Say something that's I'll cut this. Must remember to cut this. Come on, let me think of something.
Want me to help you?
No, it's all right. Casablanca. Casablanca is a good example. Humphrey Bogart's character, I can't for the life of me remember his name. That's a terrible example. Something else.
How about that really horrible film we watched, Memento? Or is that not really?
Yeah, no, that's a bit of a different one. Shit.
About Avengers, is there a scene in Avengers where they have to do something to attain their goal? We can't really do Avengers because that's only just come out, isn't it?
No, I've got to think of something.